everyone. So this isn't the best setup, but um, I've been through a few traumatic things lately, and I lost everything I owned again. Uh, 2 weeks ago, my landlord came and took everything I had, which is frustrating because I had managed to contain my disorganization to one room, but people didn't care. They took everything I had, including things I had boxed from when I moved in and never took out of the boxes because I was seeking diagnosis and help and managing. So I am 37 years old, and I went through severe abuse in my childhood, and I had been diagnosed with Asperger's as a kid, but for some reason my parents didn't accept the diagnosis, and they didn't do anything any further. When I moved to Portugal, it's essentially as if I wasn't diagnosed, and I was a victim of domestic abuse all my life. I was sexually assaulted as a child 3 times. Also suffered several attempted sexual assaults throughout the years, but nothing happened, well, except for that. Well, I survived. As a child, I wasn't so lucky, and I've had a very traumatic experience my entire life. And living with undiagnosed autism, well, technically I was diagnosed with Asperger, but it's as if I hadn't been, essentially destroyed my life. And today, I'm sitting here, but I have nothing. They took my clothes, they took my gold, things I had from my grandparents, everything. I'm literally dispossessed. I'm at risk of, even though I pay rent, of losing my rent because um, I don't get the help I need. And I was just diagnosed. I'm still in the process of diagnosing the comorbidities, but I feel that for the past 20 years, and it's probably the reason I went from being slightly disorganized to almost full hoarding, sometimes hoarding, because I think I'm in constant state of flight or fight and extreme fear, because I have nightmares of being hospitalized against my will again, and nobody ever accepted to diagnose my autism, even though since I was in my teens I always said I am autistic, I need a diagnosis, I need help, and the way to fix a lot of my problems is with a proper diagnosis. And I was patronized, I was mocked, I was treated like I was retarded, and sometimes they tell me I'm too smart to articulate to be autistic, or that I'm not obsessive enough, or that I am not stupid enough, or that stuff that kept me from having a life. I'm 37. I never had a boyfriend. I'm 37. I have barely any friends. I'm 37. And for years, social services didn't let me work. because that they thought I was incapable of working, but at the same time they didn't give me a disability um, pension because I was too good, too normal to have a disability pension. And at the same time, I said, I'm normal. I just need an autism diagnosis. And I know I can clean my stuff. I can keep it clean, but I need proper help. I need diagnosis for autism, and I need to be treated as an autistic person, because when you take my stuff, you touch my stuff, and you're not helping. When you pressure me, you're not helping me. You're making my trauma worse, and you're making it escalate. And I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. So essentially, um, I think probably now I'm also being diagnosed for ADHD, because that's probably the part of the brain that that causes me to have disorganization and PTSD. Because I wasn't a hoarder, but I was always disorganized. And then when social services started interfering, I started being more disorganized. Um, I like to keep things around me. For instance, now I don't have a lot of things, but I have my electronics around me. I have my cat around me. Um, I like to to have things surround me for some reason. And um, so they took my clothes, they took my pictures from my grandparents, they took my gold, they took my collectibles that I had stored that were left from last time. They took everything from me. They took my new. I had cute kitchen stuff that I had everything in the same box. Everything was new. But then social services believed my landlord, saying that everything was trashed. It wasn't. The kitchen was a mess, but the stuff they took wasn't, and no one takes me seriously. And I'm never safe anywhere, and all I wanted was time for my therapy and for my help, but nobody takes me seriously. And so I was dispossessed again. I'm being treated as, I don't know, like an animal. I have no rights. Now that I'm diagnosed, social services started treating me like I was retarded, which was probably worse than being treated as an animal, because they're kind of, and it's stupid, because at the same time, oh, they treat me like I'm highly intelligent and use intelligent stereotypes, but at the same time, they baby talk to me. And even as a baby, I would cry when people baby talked to me. And today, social services came here and they baby talked to me. I mean, I pay 400 euros rent, which is nearly half as much as I make in a month. I don't need to be, I'm not even getting money from social service. And they're harassing me again. I don't feel safe anywhere. All I want is, keep getting treated by my doctor. That now that I finally found someone that understands autism and respects us as human beings, and a safe place to live. Because any moment, people can come here and take my things or hospitalize me, and I don't feel safe. I feel terrified. My nightmares have increased again. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I am terrified I just, the safest place I feel is sleeping in the couch in a fetal position, because I don't even feel safe sleeping in a bed. And I know it's pathetic, and I should let them are more comfortable, but it's the way I feel safer is sleeping in the couch, recoiled, next to my computer, next to my remaining things. And I don't know. I can't live like this. I feel that every time I'm managing, I was, you know, I was cleaning the things. I downloaded an app that helps me manage things. I was even working on a diagnosis, which I have now, to 37 years, but I have now. Well, I had it, but I lost it. So the frustrating part is all the trauma I went through could have been avoided if they just took me seriously. Because they said how even if you're not lying about being diagnosed when you were a child, doctors get it wrong all the time. So let's hospitalize you, traumatize you, treat you like a second-rate human being, not let you get a lawyer, not let you talk into institutions or do anything. Let's just traumatize you more and pretend that you're schizophrenic, that you are bipolar disorder, whatever suits, or eating disorders, or anorexia, or bulimia. Every excuse they had to keep me hospitalized. And when I told them that my issues with keeping myself organized can be related to my autism, nobody accepted it. It's been years now, and when I told people that I needed help for autism, I didn't have hoarding level issues. It was something small. I was disorganized, but it was fixable. And I wouldn't escalate if people had given me proper attention and care when I asked them to. Because even if I was wrong about being autistic, don't you want to try to at least take it out of the way and get a proper assessment by a specialist? I don't know. And I feel that I'm not really disorganized because I do try, and I see that when I buy things, I buy cleaning stuff, I buy boxes to organize things, and I start, but then I get so overwhelmed. I rarely can move more than 2-3 items, and then people talk to me, and the progress I did, that I do worse, and I start trashing things more when people when people I don't know what, it's stupid because I don't want to trash things, but the more people talk to me, the more people pressure me, the worse I get. And I'm sorry, I'm overwhelmed. And my psychiatrist gave me a book to read on autism. There was a few things actually I didn't know, and I think my hoarding may actually be related because from what I've been reading about shutdown, I feel like I've been like that for years, and I feel that probably that's what's causing my issue. I feel that maybe I'm in shutdown mode, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm just discovering a few things now. I know social issues are bad. Got a bit worse this year because my brother didn't want to have kids, and he just had a daughter. She's the most loveliest girl, and I always wanted to be a mom. Then 37, single, alone, and I have my cat. They wanted to take it from me, but the vets actually said the cat was better off with me, and that we have a special relationship. So I got to keep my cat because she's well taken care of. Um, but they took almost everything. They tried to take my cat, and luckily the vet saw that I take good care of her, and um, she assessed her. She says that she might need to be screened for age-related issues, but um, she said she seems overall healthy, and she's a very happy, cuddly, I don't know what the expression was, but she loved the cat because the cat was playful. She even said the cat was used to being pampered, something like that. And that reassured me because I was terrified that even I would be separated from her because I pay a rent beyond my means just to be able to be with my cat. I'd rather not eat or have little money left to be with her. And it's another thing for my security is that I can't find anywhere else to rent. So I need to be subjected to these kinds of abuses and invasive practices because I don't want to separate from Latina. She's all I have. And I already pay 400 euros rent, then I have to pay electricity, and it's not even a real apartment, it's just like a kind of a hotel room thing. You have the room, bathroom, and this room here, which is an improvised kitchen. Doesn't even have a stove. I had a little hot plate, but even that they took from me, so now I have no clothes. Well, I bought 3 dresses. I have nothing. I don't he- I'm using paper plates because I used to have lovely stuff. They took everything. Even the things I had stored in my chest. I have a few trunks that I really love where I put my most treasured things. They left the trunks and they emptied and they took everything. And I don't feel safe anywhere. All I want is a place where I can be safe again. I was never really safe, to be honest. I just want to feel safe. And I don't know where I'm going to feel safe. I don't really know. It's just now I have a diagnosis. Not full diagnosis. They diagnosed me with autism level 1, PTSD. Then I have invalidation trauma, and invalidation trauma for not authorities, what was it? Something like that. There's a hoarding issue, and on the 3rd of September, there is going to be the second part of the appointment where they're going to assess me for ADHD because highly likely ADHD, and that's what he thinks is the root cause of the hoarding issues besides the PTSD and other comorbidities and how to help me out. And yeah, so I don't know. I think I started a GoFundMe, um, and I think uh, I need a place that is my own where I can feel safe, so that I can work through my trauma and have security first to build my life, so that I don't have to be in flight or fight response every time, so that I cannot be in shutdown mode. Because from what I read in that book, what I used to call fight or flight response is kind of what the book says is shutdown. Please, I'm not. I'll need to work with my doctor what it is. But I think that's the reason that I haven't been able to keep a proper house. If you understand what I mean. So I think I started GoFundMe for first to solve the housing issue, because I need a place where I can work my trauma, and um, I cannot be like a place where I can have a sin, a place where I'm not constantly afraid to leave the house, because I get real anxious to leave the house. I get terrified, and I am terrified. I was already terrified that when I leave the house, I'll come back to find nothing, and it happened. So I already had that fear, and now it happened again, and my anxiety is worse, and I want to be in a place where I can start fresh, where I can get therapy without being judged. And then when I'm worked through this stuff, my plan is I want to do a lawsuit, because even though, sorry, because even though I'm saying in the title, autism ruined my life, it wasn't necessarily autism that ruined my life. It was the fact that I was undiagnosed. I was abused my entire life, and the authorities that were meant to protect me just made it worse, and made me less able to function. And I can function if I am respected, if my concerns are addressed, if I am getting not necessarily what I'd call validation, but if I'm treated as a human being. All I want to be is treated as a human being. I don't do things on purpose, and I'm not dumb that I'm not conscious that some things are bad. I know what I need to work through. I just need people to work through things with me, and not behind my back or against me, because I know how to solve my issues, and I would have solved them years ago if you had worked with me. And I don't know. Dr. Pedro has been treating me better than anyone in years, and I want to run away again. I really want to run away. I feel terrified. This apartment was supposed to be a safe place to me, and it's no longer a safe place, so I need a new place to go. So I started to GoFundMe to find a new place, but I don't think renting is going to work, because I need some place that I can manage myself, and that I don't risk being dispossessed or again hospitalized, or face these traumas over and over again. I just want my life. I just want to be treated as a human being. And also after that, I want to start lawsuits. Not necessarily to get compensation, although I think I deserve compensation for having 37 years of my life taken away from me. I mean, if I had been diagnosed at 15, where would I be today? Because I knew I had autism at 15. I went through so many psychologists, so many psychiatrists, so many people trying to find what's wrong with me. And the answer was there all the time. I have autism. Why is it so hard for you to realize that I am autistic? Why is it so hard for you to accept that I do know how to fix my problems? I just need some help and by someone who knows how to deal with autism. I don't need you to tell me that I might have bipolar disorder, that I might be depressed, that I might have that and that. I am not depressed, I'm not bipolar. I know my issue is autism, and even if I had any of those things, I know I'm autistic. I was diagnosed as a child, even if you don't believe it. I think that even if just to show me that I don't have autism, you should have attempted a diagnosis years ago, and not just because I threatened a lawsuit. When I was hospitalized, I was threatening a lawsuit, so they kept me longer there. And and I'm sorry, I know it's a long-winded rant, but first step is I need a safe place, so I can recover, so I cannot be in this constant anxiety and fear for my life, because I know people aren't going to kill me, but I'm terrified that I'm going to lose my job. I'm terrified that I'm going to lose my independence. I'm terrified that I'm going to be stuck in an asylum for the rest of my life, and this makes me unable to function, because I know I'm a normal person, and I know that I can keep my house clean. I know that I can live my life and be a functional human being. But I need respect from people. And the first thing for me to start and be able to keep my house clean, to be able to cope and function, is I need to feel safe. Because if I don't feel safe, I will never be able to keep to live. Because so far what I've been doing is surviving. It's not living. And taking my things from me will not help me live. Will not cure my disorganization. It didn't cure it. In fact, it made it worse, because I started disorganized. Now I am at a level which can be already considered hoarding. So I really need help. And the first step is safety. I need to feel safe, because I don't feel safe anywhere. So that's my first priority, is finding a place where I feel safe. And I know I shouldn't put a GoFundMe, but at the same time, I'm terrified for my life. I'm terrified that I'll spend, my uncle has, today, he is abandoned in a senior home. People abuse him. He is isolated because he didn't get care. He has cerebral palsy. He is all alone, ostracized. He has no rights. and I don't want to end up like him. I hope someday I can go get him and give him the dignity to live. But today, I'm the one that has no dignity to live, but I can still fight for my own dignity and for my own autonomy and self-determination and be resilient. And that's what I'm working on. So I started a GoFundMe to work on housing, which I think the most important aspect to being safe is housing, because I need a place where I know I don't get evicted from, I don't get forced to abandon my job to be hospitalized, and I know I can go to therapy, to specialists that help autistic people and not get hospitalized in a mental asylum for something I don't have. Then once I'm safe, I want to sue people for all the trauma I've been put through by institutionalized abuse and invalidation and neglect, by how they made my life worse and made my autism worse. Not my autism, but the organization, the issues with ADHD and autism could have been much milder, and I could have a normal life if I hadn't suffered all this institutional abuse. And then once I can take care of myself, I want to use my case as an example to create laws and force institutions to treat people in my situation as human beings, and instead of hospitalizing them in mental institutions, in treating them as second-class citizens, as animals, or insulting them, that multidisciplinary teams can be created to assess their needs and work with them. Because you're not working with me when you take my things without my knowledge. You're causing more trauma and causing my issues to escalate. If you want to work through people, you're just masking the symptom. You're not helping the people. You need to work with people so that they can be capable of doing things themselves. And by treating us like animals, you're not helping us. You're making so that we'll never be a part of society, and we'll keep isolating ourselves more and more and more. Thank you for listening, and I know the video doesn't have much quality, but they took my computer, and it's fun. Yeah, so at least I'm already diagnosed with autism. I have a sort of diagnosis of ADHD. I still have the second appointment to work on it, and I have trauma and all these things that were worked on. I have the doctor paper that with all the diagnosis, but I don't think they care about diagnosis. So, and I'm really sorry to ask for help, but I just want to I just want to feel safe, and I don't feel safe. So if you could share my GoFundMe that I will put down, and if you could find me legal advice. I really need legal advice. It's really important. I don't know if if anyone understands Portuguese law, and I'll probably take it someday to the human rights court because I feel that my human rights have been severely trampled with all these years. So I think if I don't get any help in my country, I will take my country to the human rights court, and we'll see from there. And I'm sorry, this video is all over the place, but I've been barely able to cope, and I'm terrified, and I tried to record this video since last week when I was diagnosed, but I'm having panic attacks and I'm feeling so exhausted even when I'm working, I'm so exhausted. I think I've never felt so exhausted in my entire life. Well, not already felt like this before, but just so much, and I'm just this close. I was this close to work on my thing, and now I don't feel safe here. I don't feel safe. I'm terrified of being here, and I know it's stupid because it's just a stupid apartment, but I don't feel at home anymore. I feel violated, and I don't feel safe here, and I can't find another place to rent. So it's really hard. I just don't feel safe, and I feel terrified. I'm sorry. I know this isn't my usual video, and I haven't posted in so long. But I've just been so overwhelmed. I just wanted peace and being understood, and today I just felt so angry because I was being treated like a child. I hate baby talk, and why are people talking to a 37-year-old woman? Like, seriously, why do you do that? Anyway, this is what I want to